me, Mr. Duncan, what is the weather like in England today? Well, we have 15 Celsius. It is a lovely day. It is really starting to feel like spring is in the air, and we are back together as live can be for all those who love the English language. This is English Addict, coming to you live from the birthplace of the English language. You know where it is. I know where it is. In fact, we all know where it is. Of course, it's England. Let's get on with it. Here we go. Oh, there you are. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Do you have one of these on your face today? I want to see those smiles. I want to see those big wide mouths and of course your lovely teeth as well. Show me everything. Show me your pearly whites. Mr. Duncan, what are you talking about? What does that mean? Your pearly whites are your teeth. It is a friendly way of describing your teeth, your pearly whites. So I hope you are smiling at the moment, and even if you're not, maybe later I will put a smile on your face. Fantastic weather. That's all I can say. We are having the most amazing weather. It is glorious. Yesterday and also today. Sadly, yesterday I was on my own because Mr. Steve was doing a show. Unfortunately, we could not go for a walk, but today, Steve and we have made an agreement. We have said that we will go for a walk after today's live stream has finished. So Steve has promised. This is a proper pinky finger promise. So that is definitely binding. There is no way he can escape that arrangement. Talking of which, by the way, yes, we do have Mr. Steve coming up later on. For those who are fans of this guy, if you like Mr. Steve, then you are in for a treat because we have Mr. Steve. He's here telling us all about his wonderful weekend, doing his performances. He was singing. A lot of people ask, Mr. Duncan, why don't you let Mr. Steve sing on your live stream? For two reasons. Two reasons why I don't allow it. Well, first of all, I'm not sure if it is suitable for an English teaching live stream. Also, the other thing, you do have to be careful. You see, when you perform a piece of music, whatever it is, you do have to be careful because you might get into trouble. So one of the things you have to do before you sing or play any music or song, you must make sure that it is not in copyright. And of course, these days, you have to be so careful because you can get into trouble. In fact, I have a confession to make. In my life, I have done some naughty things. Not serious things, but one thing in particular that I did in the past that sometimes keeps me awake at night. Sometimes I am lying awake, afraid that one day the authorities will catch up with me. In the early 2000s, in fact around maybe 1998, 1999, and I suppose into the early 2000s, I used to do something very illegal. But the good thing, of course, is lots of other people were doing the same thing. Of course, I'm talking about downloading music from the internet. So in the very early days of the internet, there was very little copyright control. So lots of things were put onto the internet for people to download into their own computers, including music. And I used to spend hours and hours. I've just realised I probably shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be telling you this. This is like a confession, I suppose. But will it stand up in court? That is the question. So I did. I used to use a service called Napster. Who remembers Napster? It was a huge thing many years ago, and everyone used to do it. It wasn't just me. We used to download music off the internet. It was all there. But the thing I always remember is how long it took to download just one song. Sometimes it would take maybe 3 or 4 hours to download just one song. Because back then, way back in the late 1990s, the internet speed was very slow. It used to take a very long time to download something from the internet. You want something from the internet to go into your computer. You will download that thing. But because technology in the late 1990s was so slow, it used to take a long time to download something, even photographs. If you wanted to post a photograph onto the internet, it used to take a very long time because you only had a very slow server, around 56 kilobytes of speed, which these days is nothing. It won't even get an email sent these days, unfortunately. But I do remember that Napster was very, very popular. But then a lot of people started to be prosecuted. This is many years ago, by the way. So I think it is safe for me to actually admit this, because I wasn't the only person that did it. And to be honest, I didn't do it all the time, because basically it used to take a very long time to do it, because the internet speed was so slow. So if you wanted to download one song, sometimes it would take 2 or 3 hours just to get one song from the internet. So I didn't do it very often, but these days, of course, that we have streaming services. A lot of people use streaming services for their music and also their podcasts. A lot of people ask me, Mr. Duncan, is this a podcast? Is it? Now, I don't think it is. I would say that this is not a podcast. This is a live video stream, which in my mind is a different thing altogether. So I don't think it is actually the same thing. But of course, my days of illegal activities are over. Now I have to pay for everything. Although a couple of days ago, I started watching a streaming service, because there are lots of streaming services now. Disney, Amazon Prime. What else is there? There's Netflix. I don't have Netflix, but I decided to try Paramount Plus because they offered me a free trial. I have to say, I was disappointed. I don't know why. I've never seen a streaming service that had so little content. Nothing for me to watch. So I didn't take it up. I rejected their offer. I looked at what they had on their streaming platform, and they didn't have very much to offer, to be honest with you, so I didn't take up their offer. Although I do use Amazon Prime for videos and movies and TV shows, so I use that sometimes, but not all the time. But to be honest with you, I don't have Netflix, I don't have Paramount Plus, I don't use Spotify, anything like that. I don't use it. Very strange. We have the live stream taking place today. We have topics as well. We have subjects to talk about, including the difference between strong and weak. The difference between those two things we will be looking at today. We also have the live chat. Hello, live chat. It's very nice to see you here today. I wonder who was first. I haven't checked, so I'm going to look now. Who was first? Oh, interesting, very interesting. Congratulations, Beatrice. You are first on today's live chat. Congratulations. In second place, Vitas. Hello to you as well. We also have in third place, I don't normally mention third place, but I will today. We have the one, the only, Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. I hope you are okay today. Also, we have Palmyra. We also have, excuse me, I just want to press that button. It's gone now. Also we have Hamza. Hello Hamza. It's nice to see you here today. I wonder where you are watching at the moment. And also Inaki Valentin. Hello Valentin. I haven't seen you for a long time. Welcome back to my lovely happy family. Of course, you are always welcome to join us right here on English Addict every Sunday and Wednesday from 2 p.m. UK time. Maruzio is here as well. Nice to see you back here. Duk An Vu Lee says, it is my birthday today. Hello, Duk An Vu Lee. Happy birthday to you. I hope you have a super duper day, whatever you are doing in Vietnam. I'm not sure. Is there some sort of tradition with your birthday in Vietnam? So maybe there is some sort of special celebration. Here, of course, in England, a lot of people don't celebrate their birthday over a certain age. So a lot of people over a certain age, and by that I mean not children, adults. Quite often they will not celebrate their birthday. They will pretend that it hasn't happened. The reason why I mention that, besides it being Duk An Vu Lee, it is your birthday, I have my big birthday coming up this year. It is a big age this year, and I'm not looking forward to it. So I've said to Mr. Steve, I said, Steve, on my birthday we must go as far away as possible from everything. Maybe to the International Space Station. I might spend my birthday there, up in space, perhaps. We will have to wait and see. August is a very long way off, so I don't have to worry about that at the moment. Who else is here today? We also have Monte. Hello, Monte. Nice to see you here, also on the live chat. A couple of more hellos, and then we will talk about our first subject. We have a lot to talk about today, by the way. A lot to get through. Christina is here. I'm on my way back. From where? Where have you been, Christina? Now I'm interested. to find out, you see, where you've been, where you are. What are you doing? Because I'm very nosy. I like to find out those things. Here's an interesting phrase that we often use in English when we want to talk about something that seems as if it will always be here. And there are many things, I suppose, we could talk about. Something that is with you, something that is there in front of you. Maybe something you see on television, maybe your favourite television programme, or a person that you like to watch on the internet. No one in particular, of course, no one in particular, but it could be me. It might be me. Is it me? No? Here is an interesting phrase that we often use when the thing we love or the thing we like to see or maybe something we like to use suddenly vanishes. It disappears. The phrase is here today, gone tomorrow. Something is here today, gone tomorrow. It is a phrase we often use when we talk about something that is popular, something that is around, something perhaps you like to use, maybe something you buy from the supermarket. We all have our favourite brands. For example, I like buying things made by Heinz. I like their beans, I like their tomato ketchup, I also like their mayonnaise, I also like their salad cream. So all of those things I love buying, but sometimes they are not available and I get very upset. Or sometimes the thing disappears completely. It just goes away for various reasons. And here is a very good example of something that is here today and then gone tomorrow, and that is Skype. Who remembers the golden age of Skype? Everyone, and I mean everyone, was using Skype. It used to be the thing that everyone would use if they wanted to communicate with another person. In fact, I think it was around before the iPhone. So I think Skype has been around since the late 1990s. It was a much used type of communication device. And then, of course, the iPhone came along and you had something called FaceTime, which is very popular. And then, of course, we had something called WhatsApp, which completely destroyed the whole market. And then we had lockdown during 2020. And that went on for a very long time, which meant lots of people were using different forms of communication. Now, you would imagine, and I would think that this company would do very well during that time. But apparently it didn't. And it has suffered. And guess what? This phrase is very suitable for this particular brand because it was here today, but it will be gone tomorrow. It will be no more. Skype is going away forever because there is too much competition from other types of communication devices and software through the internet. And I think this has happened during lockdown. Who remembers lockdown? How can we forget lockdown? So it is sad that the phrase here today, gone tomorrow does definitely apply to this particular brand. Of course, many other things have disappeared over the years. I remember Vine. Who remembers Vine? You could watch very short video clips that would just repeat again and again in a never-ending loop. Vine was a huge thing, but it was not commercially successful, and it vanished without trace. It disappeared. So even something that is popular can vanish without trace. Anything. Maybe your favourite television programme, perhaps something you like watching on television. It can be here today, gone tomorrow. Just because something is popular, it doesn't mean that it will always be successful. And of course, this happens with other things as well. Maybe your favourite brand. You like to go to the supermarket and you have your favourite thing that you always like to buy every week when you go shopping. You always buy one particular thing. Maybe a particular type of butter, or maybe something you like to have as a snack during the week. And then one day you go into the supermarket and that thing is not there anymore. The shelf is empty. It's gone. And so you ask someone, where is it? Where is my favourite brand? Where is my lovely treat? Where is my delicious snack? And they will say, I'm ever so sorry. It's been discontinued. It is no more. And this does happen quite often with things you enjoy eating, things you enjoy watching, and of course things you sometimes use on the internet. Sadly, here today, gone tomorrow. Skype is no more. Now, as I understand it, over the past few years, it was owned by Microsoft. So even Microsoft, a big company like that, could not make it successful. So I find it quite amazing that this particular company or this particular type of software will be vanishing. In fact, it may have already gone, to be honest with you. Here today, gone tomorrow. One thing that is definitely not here today and gone tomorrow is me. I'm not going anywhere. I've been doing this. Now, if you look behind me, you can see just behind me there is a sign that says 18 years. And that is to remind everyone that I've been doing this for 18 years on YouTube. And guess what? I'm hoping that I can do it for 18 more years. If I can continue doing this for another 18 years, I have to say I will be rather happy. Indeed. Coming up in a few moments, we have the one, the only. It is Mr. Steve. Today we are looking at the differences between strong and weak. And as an added bonus, could you live without your mobile devices? Oh, Mr. Duncan, that is an interesting one. I will think deep and hard about that. So lots of things to talk about today. Beatrice says, during the pandemic, I was in the mountains. We had to buy from a small village. So we bought what there was. There were no options. And sometimes the brands were very bad and poor quality. It can happen. Sometimes during difficult situations or difficult moments, sometimes you have to take what is on offer. We have an interesting phrase in English. Beggars can't be choosers. I've been in that situation many times. I remember many years ago when I was trying to find work, going back 35, 45 years in the past. Sometimes you had to take any type of job. Sometimes the phrase beggars can't be choosers is very suitable. Mr. Steve is coming in a moment, so please don't go away. Keep it right here. English Addict is your place to be. This morning, I woke up very early. I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning to record the first real Dawn Chorus of 2025. I will be playing that to you a little bit later on. But before then, take a break, have a cup of tea, put your feet up, relax, because he is on his way. Mr. Steve will be here in just a couple of moments. Don't go away.
I'm a big boy now.
English Addict is what we are doing today, and we are live from the birthplace of the English language. Ooh, it's lovely to have you here today on this Sunday. Of course, for many people, Sunday is the day when they spend their time just sitting around, doing nothing. Maybe they go out for a little walk, or perhaps they just stay in bed. Not me. I don't have any time to do that on a Sunday. I have to get up early. This morning I got up very early to record the dawn chorus outside. And every year I always look forward to the beginning, the start of the dawn chorus. So just before Mr. Steve arrives, here is a little bit of the dawn chorus from this morning. Just listen out for all the lovely birds. Oh. We might have a little bit more of that later on. So that was this morning at 6 a.m. I got up very early so I could record the sound of the dawn chorus. Of course, at the moment, because it's early in the year, the birds still haven't got their energy back. So they were there and they were singing, but they only had a little bit of energy, not much energy. Talking of which, here is a guy who often has lots of energy. Some might say too much energy. But he is a guy who likes to do all sorts of things. I have a feeling he might be telling us about this in a moment. It is, of course, the one, the only, Mr. Steve.
Hello, wonderful, beautiful viewers from across the globe. Here we are once again. Here I am once again at 2:30, which is the same time that you go to your dentist. There's a well-worn joke. 2:30.
Shouldn't that?
I'm sure Claudia would appreciate that.
That would be your Chinese doctor.
Yes, exactly. 2:30.
Yeah.
It's a joke that's been well worn. But yes, I definitely was not up with the dawn chorus. I was in bed, fast asleep. Mr. Duncan, I didn't even realise he'd got up to listen to the dawn chorus and to record it for all you wonderful folk to listen to. I'm sure you're going to be doing it. Are you going to be doing another one, Mr. Duncan?
Yes, I might be doing a live one.
A live one, which is what you did last year. Did you do a live one last year, Mr. Duncan?
No, I did a live one a couple of years ago. In fact, I think it was during lockdown I did it. So it might be 5 years ago I did it. But incredibly popular. Really, really popular. So I might do it again, Steve. I might do my Dawn Chorus live stream again. Maybe at the start of April when everything starts to get more exciting. Anyway, it's nice to see you here, Mr. Steve.
Yes. And
you are looking fresh today.
Thank you for all your lovely greetings. Beatrice says I look beautiful.
Oh.
Is that anything to do with the new light that you've purchased? Although there seems to be a purple glow behind me.
There is.
I'm not sure if purple is a flattering colour.
It's great. It's trendy.
Oh, right, okay.
It's trendy and cool. So you have to trust me on that, Steve. Everyone will love it.
Do you love the new background colour? Is it flattering me or is it making me look ill?
Oh, don't say that.
Please let us know if you like the new colour that is behind me or not.
Well, if you don't like it, I can always change it because the light will change.
Beatrice likes it.
The light will change to any colour, Steve.
Well, Beatrice likes it, so let's leave it for now.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Duncan, spring is definitely in the air.
It does feel like
That's a phrase we use. Spring is in the air. So if you live in countries with distinctive seasons, Northern Hemisphere, then we get these distinctive seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And it definitely feels like we're coming out of winter, which has been a very dull, miserable, wet winter this year, more so than usual. And we've actually had virtually no rain for a week, which is... We've had constant rain all winter for the last 6 months, I would say.
I think if I had to name or say or even describe winter, the one we've just had, dull and wet, it's horrible, horrible. So we have spring coming. We have 16 Celsius today. So I'm quite pleased that we do have sunshine. It might even go up to 17 Celsius a little bit later on, and we will be going out for a walk. So Steve, you are not, I'm telling Mr. Steve now, I'm being very strong with Mr. Steve. You will not be sitting down to watch TV. We will be going for a lovely walk after this live stream has finished.
I like to sit down after the live stream with a cup of tea, a piece of cake, and watch one of my favourite car programmes.
Not today.
It's not. I might get 5 minutes in.
No, you're not doing it, Steve. No. We made a pinky agreement, and you know the pinky agreement is always binding.
I don't know anything about that. Although I do know, you see, we usually get a long walk in on a Saturday, but yesterday we couldn't because I wasn't here.
No, you were in a show.
I was in a concert.
Well, that's a show.
It's technically we'd call it a concert.
Oh, for goodness sake!
Because it was a collection of songs.
Yeah, it's a show, by the way.
No, it's a concert.
Yeah, this is a show.
This is a show.
Yes.
What we did last night and yesterday afternoon was a concert, a night at the opera. We called it. So it was just excerpts from different operettas and operas, and there were solos, duets, quartets, choir numbers, and we just did a lot of things from quite a few from well-known Italian operas as well, for all our Italian friends that are watching. So we did a number of those, and it was a lovely night. The audience really appreciated it, and it's all for charity. But yeah, it was a lovely night, a lovely evening, but it meant we couldn't go on our usual walk because I was otherwise engaged. But so that's why we're doing it today. So not that you're particularly interested, I'm sure.
No, well, I only mentioned it as a brief thing, but Mr. Steve, you had a lot of. I think the audience yesterday. You were telling me that the audience for your show
concert.
I'm going to say show. Mr. Steve says concert. Tomato. Let's agree to disagree. But from what I understand, the audience loved it. And isn't it great? Can I just say, Steve, isn't it good when you put a lot of effort and a lot of work into doing something? There is nothing better than getting a warm response. You get the response from the audience. And this is something I often say about doing this. So I think this is very similar to standing on a stage and performing, because we are really, this is show business, by the way. This is what it looks like. I'm just waiting for my Oscar. Once again, I've been snubbed.
Well, you've had your YouTube button over there. If I can, there it is.
Yes.
Your 1 million subscriber button from YouTube. So that is your Oscar.
Yes.
In a way.
Yeah. It's certainly bigger than an Oscar.
Well, what are we talking about today, Mr. Duncan?
We have a lot to get through today. We are looking at technology because I did mention at the start of today's live stream about Skype, because it's gone. There is no more Skype. They have axed Skype.
Really?
And yet it was around for so many years. It was one of the first forms of communication where you could go what they call peer-to-peer. You could actually sort of connect directly with another person visually, with a voice and also with your camera. But gone. That's it. Goodbye Skype.
So who owns Skype?
Microsoft.
Oh, right, okay.
So they can't keep up with the competition from companies like WhatsApp, who let's face it, they have all of the users, the people that want to make private phone calls and video messages and all of that sort of thing. So I would imagine that's one of the reasons why Skype is no more. It's gone. So I was thinking, Steve, because we watched a very interesting program last night. It is available on YouTube, by the way, all about the effects of watching and looking at things on the internet all the time. A very interesting documentary, and it is on YouTube. You can watch it legally. It has been posted there by the person who made the documentary, and it got me thinking. I started thinking, Steve, could I live without my mobile devices? Could I actually live without having a mobile phone in front of me? So I think that is a good question to start with. Could you live without your mobile devices? Now, Steve, you are in a very interesting situation with your life, your job, because you have to use technology quite a lot. But I think also in your away from work moments, you often use technology for communicating with people. And would you say that you could live without your mobile devices?
I think it would be very difficult. It'd be very difficult to do my job. It's obviously not just me. Most people now. Well, I don't know if you mean anything apart from a fixed computer.
Well, anything that
a phone. A tablet.
Can I just say, these days most people use their phone for everything.
That's correct.
Because the big old-fashioned computer, the big box, not many people use those now. So many people now have tablet devices, or maybe their mobile phone, or they might use an old laptop, or, of course, laptops are still very popular.
Is that that's a mobile device?
Yes, well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't. It depends what your job was. But I think most people, a friend of mine who's the same age as me, who has never had a smartphone. She had an old Nokia phone, which she had for years. And they decided to go on holiday. They hadn't been on holiday abroad, i.e. out of this country, for about 10 years, something like that, 5 or 10 years. And so they went on holiday. And when she got to the airport, I think it was either here or in the country she flew to. I think it was here. They wouldn't let her on the plane because she hadn't got a mobile phone, a smartphone, because she had to verify her identity using this phone or somehow. I don't know. It was either her tickets or something. They wouldn't accept they wouldn't accept tickets or some part of the security.
Well, I can tell you, Steve, it was actually the visa. The clearance for the visa going into Singapore. And I can say now, because I've been to Singapore, only passing through, not actually staying there, but they are very strict with all of the procedures with going through or in, because they were on their way to Australia. Is that right?
That's right.
That's it. So they were on their way to Australia. And of course, quite often you will stop off somewhere first because it is a long journey to Australia. But they couldn't get into Singapore to wait for their connecting flight because of just one problem with the phone. So your friend could not verify the fact that she was able to go through Singapore, and because of that she was almost denied access.
Because she hadn't got a smartphone, which is the way they recognised whatever they wanted to recognise so that she was valid to go in.
Yeah.
So anyway, she bought one in Australia. so that when they came back, she didn't have any problems. But yeah, they nearly denied her. I can't remember how she managed to get through now, but she did. But on the way back, obviously she'd already got herself a smartphone. But now she's got one. She's saying, I don't know how I ever lived without it, because as people are pointing out on the live stream, you do your banking with it now. You do, in fact, you cannot transfer in the UK. You can only transfer large sums of money on a mobile device in your bank or from your bank. You can't do it on your home computer anymore.
Oh. Well, I have no problem with that one.
Yes, well, I had to pay for something quite substantial.
Okay.
Last year, and I tried to transfer the money on my laptop, and it wouldn't let me. But it would let me do it on the phone, which I thought was incredible, because I would have thought the phone was less secure. But I spoke to the bank, and they said, "Oh no, we regard the phone as more secure."
Well, it is true.
Than a laptop.
Yes. Well, I can tell you why, Steve. Because quite often you have something called two-point verification, but also most modern phones, and this is what you found, haven't you, Steve? Because you've just updated to an iPhone 13, and now it uses face recognition. So all of your logins, so when you log into anything on your phone, you can just use your face. And as we all know, every face is different.
But to me, that's less secure. So if somebody, robs me on the street,
okay,
and demands that I transfer money into their account and I'm at knife point, then if I didn't have a smartphone, I could say, well, I can't do that because I've got to go to the bank. But now they'll just force me to do facial recognition and transfer money into their account.
Or Steve, when you do it, you just don't smile, or you do a different face. Or, and here's another one: don't go out into places where someone might rob you.
Well, you never know, do you?
Yes, well, you just.
You don't know what's going. Or if you lose your phone, of course, it's a disaster, isn't it, these days?
Yes.
Because suddenly you can't contact your friends.
But it's still safe.
Yes, and then you lose all your apps that you use.
But that doesn't put anything at risk, though, because you still need your face. So
no, but I'm just saying, if you lose your phone, it's like a catastrophe now, isn't it?
Yes. Well, I was going to the point of you talking about banking. Banking is that's the biggest risk, isn't it? So if you lose your phone, no one can steal from your bank because they need your face. So they can try to get in as often as they want, but they won't, because they are not you. They don't look like you. That's what I was actually trying to say. But yes, banking, everything, booking holidays, buying things off the internet. It's all just a couple of clicks. It's so easy to do, because most of it is verifying using your face. Unless, of course, they chop your head off and carry it around with them, and then they're just going into the shops.
I'm interested to know, actually, those of you watching us today, are you watching us on a phone, a smartphone, a tablet, or on a laptop, or a desktop computer?
Well,
how are you actually watching us? I'd be very interested to know.
Yeah. Well, guess what, Steve? I already know. Because I get statistics from YouTube. About 80% of my viewers are watching on mobile phones. Most of my regular viewers use mobile technology. So that could be a smartphone, or maybe a tablet device. And some people use their desktops, but not many people do. And that's because desktop computers have become less popular. Most people now have their mobile device, or they just have their tablet device. They don't even have a big computer in their house at all. So I find that quite interesting. But yes, so most people watching at the moment, Steve, are actually using one of these. They're using their mobile phone. very
if you're
popular.
not using a mobile phone, let us know. That's probably the easiest way. If you are using a laptop, maybe. Do people still buy laptops?
They do,
Uh,
because the modern ones, you can turn them into tablet devices. So you
Right.
open the screen out, and then you can turn it into a tablet. So a lot of laptops are very clever in that way. But yes, there are people also who watch us on their big televisions. But that is only a very small percentage. So it's only a very small fraction of the people who watch us live are actually watching on their television. But I think that would be the best way of doing it. Because imagine Mr. Steve and me on your big 50-inch television. Imagine that. You could
I
have
know,
our face.
every floor showing,
We would be life size.
every wrinkle.
Imagine that. We would virtually be life size.
Frightening, I would say, for anybody watching. But yes, Claudia said earlier, hello Claudia, that she was addicted to her mobile phone. And I think it's safe to say that a lot of us are. We don't think of it as an addiction, but I mean, sometimes you just spend so much time on it. And the other day I was driving, and it's a very strange sight. I mentioned this to you, Mr. Duncan. I passed a bus stop yesterday on my way to the concert, and there was probably about a dozen people waiting at the bus stop. I think there was a road closed, so there was a lot of people waiting. There was a delay.
Okay.
And as I went past, I just noticed it was a very strange sight to see everybody just like this on their phones, just doing this. Everybody was just in that same position with their heads bowed, their phones in front of them, obviously scrolling or reading something.
In fact, sometimes they have it right in front of their face. They actually have the phone literally right in front of them as they're walking along. I've lost count of how many times I've actually walked into someone. I've bumped straight into them because they were not looking where they're going. They're just intently watching something on their phone, and they're not even taking any notice of the environment around them. I find that amazing.
Yes, it was nobody was interacting with anybody else. They weren't talking to each other. They were just all absorbed in their mobile phones. And of course, it is the sort of equivalent to being on a train and having a newspaper.
Yes.
And because if you don't want to talk to other people, and it also makes you feel. I've noticed this before. If you're just sort of sitting, like in a doctor's surgery or anywhere where there's other people around, if you're in a restaurant and you're on your own, if you're just sitting there on your own, it makes you feel very insecure.
Okay.
But if you get your phone out, it makes you feel like you think that everyone else is thinking that you've got people to contact, people to talk to, and it just takes your focus away from feeling what's the word I'm looking for? Self-conscious about being on your own somewhere.
Yeah. But the odd thing is now, if you're sitting with a group of people, there's a good chance that they will also be on their phones. They're all sitting around and everyone is in their own little world, rather like the TV programme we watched last night on YouTube. Very interesting documentary about people whose emotions, the people are now feeling that their emotions are actually being affected because they can't stop looking at things on their phone. They might spend a long, long time, especially at night. Apparently the most popular time, Steve, is night time, where people will just watch things and scroll because they probably can't get to sleep, or maybe they feel restless, so they will just watch things on their phone until they start to feel sleepy.
But then will they? Because the blue light given out by the phone is supposed to be very bad for you when you're at night time, because it affects your ability to be able to fall asleep. Because the bright light is telling your brain not to go to sleep. So yes, it's all sorts of problems, I think, with overuse of mobile phones, particularly at night. I think you have to have downtime. I think you have to be selective in what you watch.
Mm.
And
But I think these days there's a lot of choice of things that only last a few seconds.
yes,
So, for example, on Instagram and TikTok, so you can scroll forever watching things, and it will never stop.
it is addictive. It
Yeah.
definitely is addictive, and you are getting a kind of endorphin hit
Yes.
every time you watch something, and then some of them you might comment, people get likes. So I've realised now that if I see a news article and I make and there's a comment section underneath, and I make a comment, I find myself now going back to see if I've got any likes.
Mm.
Now I'm going to stop doing that. After watching that programme last night, when I realised that in fact all our emotions are just commodities
Yes.
for companies, politicians, and everybody to exploit,
Mm.
hate,
But
anger.
it's actually the companies themselves that are supplying all of this information, news. Quite often the news is not even real news. So you just flood the internet with lots and lots of different content. And,
Yes.
And
And it's always pushing. It's always they're looking for emotions to trigger
Yes.
in you, and then you watch. Then adverts come up. So in effect, your emotions are being monetized
Oh, okay, Steve.
for
Shall we?
companies to make money off.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the program was saying.
Okay.
So that was the whole point of the danger of it. And a lot of the time, it's all made up stuff.
Yes.
Then they just want to get reactions
Yes.
from people because it's all good for the channel.
What I have problems with, Steve, are people that are making money out of these things, that they are publishing things that are untrue or fake, or maybe they have some sort of factory where these things are literally being manufactured like a large factory and pushed out onto the internet. The one thing I can guarantee, and this might be one of the reasons why sometimes we don't do as well as we should, is because we do not push your buttons. We are not here.
Not deliberately.
We're not here to make you angry or feel outraged or anything, to be honest. We are here as a service, and I like to think that we talk about lots of different subjects. So we are different. I'm different. Mr. Steve is different. We are different from everyone else. A lot of these large organisations, they are just putting things on to keep you occupied, to keep your attention. And I suppose we could do that if we wanted, Steve. You know, we could do that. We could try and do it, but I wouldn't want to, because I have my self-conscience. I have my good name. I have my self-worth. So once you start doing that, I think you take away some of the value of your own worth.
Lewis makes a good point here about habits. 90% of what we do are habits.
Yes.
Yes, that's very true. And a lot of it is we don't even realise we're doing them sometimes. It comes from your subconscious. You just develop these habits of what you do, and your body likes that. It feeds you good, nice feelings. If it likes to do things that it's always done. It likes the familiar. It doesn't like, generally, we don't like to feel uncomfortable by doing something different or new. And so, yeah, your body sort of reinforces the same behaviours all the time. So if you do something enough times, it becomes a habit, and then it's up to you then to break that habit, which is going to be a lot of effort to do it. Like smoking, like anything that you do, like watching us on a Sunday. That's probably a habit for a lot of people.
That's not a bad habit, though.
But it's a good habit, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So you don't want to give that up. Please
No.
don't give that up.
No. It's just interesting. You said smoking, drinking, and watching us on Sunday. Although some people are doing all three of those things at the moment.
Well, I don't blame them. Can I say hello to a few new people whose names I don't recognise? Mo.
Yes.
Mo, didn't recognise you from before. Wants to live in London.
Oh.
And why not? And Rajrina from Nepal says that, do we know Nepal? Yes, it's certainly a country that we're familiar with. I don't think we've ever had anybody on from Nepal before.
I can tell you now, we do have, and we have had in the past. Not many, but we do have sometimes viewers watching in Nepal. So a big, special hello to you watching in Nepal.
And if you have never watched us before, and you have made a comment in the live chat today, please let us know, because I don't always recognise everybody's names. And if you're new watching today, or if you've watched before and you've never made a comment, then don't be shy. We love to read your comments, and if something comes up, we can't read all of them because there's usually too many for me to mention. It's my job to monitor the live chat, but I'll pick out ones that I think seem relevant to the subject matter that we're discussing.
Yes.
But please let us know if you're new, because don't be shy. Everyone's very friendly on the live chat. We've got a lovely community here that Mr. Duncan's built up over many years, and we're all here to help each other and enjoy.
Yes. And the other important thing to mention, can I just mention, is also to like as well. Give me a lovely thumbs up and subscribe. Subscribe right now. It helps me, it supports my channel, but also it helps you to keep in touch with everyone here on YouTube. So hit that button, as they say.
Oh, we've got Paisoon. I'm sure I know I haven't pronounced your name correctly. Paisoon. I've no idea how to pronounce your name. I do apologise. From Burma. So not too far from Nepal. So it's great. Thank you for making yourself known on the live chat.
Yes, I think it might be Yeson. I think it might be Yeson.
You might have a better idea than me.
Hello to Burma, and I hope you are having a good time as well. By the way, of course, Burma, also known as Myanmar as well. Divya from India as well, is new. Welcome to you too. Lovely to have you on board, as we would say, and I hope you're enjoying today's live stream. We've got lots of exciting things we're going to talk about in the next 40 minutes or 50 minutes. We have, coming up today, we are talking about being strong and being weak.
Strong.
This might apply to us. So one of us is strong and the other is weak. I will leave it to you to work out which is which. And because it was so popular again last week, we are going to play Guess the Picture Idiom. We will be playing that again. I have some new picture idioms for you to guess out there in YouTube land. But, of course, as I said, we will be talking about our main subject today, which is the difference, the ways of expressing being strong and being weak. All of that coming up in a moment. There you go. If you've ever wondered what state Mr. Steve spends most of his time in, there is your answer. English Addict is with you today. It is myself, Mr. Duncan, and of course, there he is. Mr. Steve is with us today. We have a big subject coming up today. Lots of things to talk about.
I'll quickly say hello to Abdeslam. Abdeslam is also new. I wonder whether you knew. You made a comment earlier about the habit being addictive on a mobile phone. So thanks for that, and thanks for also making yourself known on the live chat. And look how many people are saying hello to the new guests as well. It's lovely community we've got here.
Our moderators, the moderators here are the best. They are the greatest, the best moderators anywhere on the internet in the whole wide world.
And Divya, did I say hello to you? I am now.
Good. So Mr. Steve and myself, we will be with you. By the way, my answer to the question earlier, no, I could not live without my mobile device. I literally live every breathing moment of my existence. There is technology somewhere near to me. Phone, tablet, computer, desktop, monitors, all sorts of devices and gadgets all the time. I can never get away from it, to be honest. I can't.
You couldn't do your work without it. One thing I would say, positive thing about work, is that I resisted having a smartphone for years, tablets and all those sort of things. But it's actually work that has kept me up to date with all this new technology.
Yes.
So I'm actually grateful to work for. I resist these things. I resist this kind of change because I grew up. I'm getting on in years now, and I grew up in a time when we didn't have mobile phones, computers, or anything.
Yes.
So to me, I would sort of instinctively resist these kind of changes. But if it wasn't for work forcing me to have a computer and training me on how to use it, a smartphone and training me on how to use it, and all the different apps and all the different things that we have to use for work, for expenses, for putting calls in, all these sort of things have helped me develop my knowledge around using computers and using smartphones. So I've actually got work to thank me for that.
Yeah. Well, I was saying last night, because we watched a very interesting documentary. I might, if I remember, I will put the link underneath, because it was fascinating, all about the way in which people are becoming more, or less attentive with their surroundings. And I was going to say, we are both lucky because we were born in the non-internet age. So we grew up without computers, without the internet. So we can actually appreciate, Mr. Steve and myself, and many people over a certain age, we can appreciate life, the reality of existence, rather than just living on that tiny little mobile device, which is what a lot of younger people. And for them, that is all they ever know. That is all they've ever known in their life. Whereas Mr. Steve and myself, we saw a lot of our life without any of that technology. So we can still walk away and enjoy the world around us. And we realise that reality is always more important than looking at your phone. Unless, of course, it's my live stream. In which case it's always one of these, always one of these. Steve, we have an interesting topic to talk about today. The difference between being weak and being strong. And I suppose I should say, this is not being in any way judgmental. I am not criticising anyone. So if there are things that we are explaining here, words, certain phrases, this is not the opinion of either myself or Mr. Steve. So I think it is always fair to point that out, especially on the internet. Strong and weak. Look at that. Can you see what's happening? Even my live stream has started to sweat because this is hot stuff. This is hot stuff, this live stream. Look, even your screen is starting to sweat. So we are looking at strong and weak, being strong and being weak. Well, basically, I suppose, first of all, I should say that the words strong and weak are opposites, or they are opposite from each other. So they are seen as definite differences, definitely different things. They are complete opposites between strong and weak. The word strong can be used as an adjective, and quite often we do use it as an adjective. In fact, its most common use is as an adjective describing the quality or the appearance or the nature of something as an adjective. To state the appearance of strength, Mr. Steve. Strength. I love that word, by the way. Strength is a word we often use when we are talking about anything that has some sort of power or force, having or showing or able to exert great bodily or muscular power, to be physically vigorous or robust. So those are some interesting words there. Shall we have a quick look at those words, Steve?
Sure.
To exert. If you exert, what are you actually doing?
You're putting some effort in. You're exerting yourself. Like if you go into the garden and do some digging in the garden, you're exerting yourself. You're using a lot of energy. If you go for anything is exerting. If you go for a brisk walk,
yes.
If you go up the stairs, you're exerting yourself. It just means you're using energy to do something, and you will feel it. The idea of exertion is that you're going to feel as though you've made an effort. So just walking from one side of the room to the other isn't really exertion, although it might be for some people if they've got a breathing difficulty, for example.
Yes.
But if you go up the stairs, I think for most people you would class that as exertion. Maybe if it makes you breathe a bit more, your heart goes up.
Anything that's expending energy to exert. So anything that is using or to expend, which means use. You are using energy to do something. You are exerting yourself. And then, of course, we have vigorous and robust. I think these are great words, by the way, today. Vigorous. Something vigorous is using lots of energy. Would you say, Steve?
Yes. I could go on a vigorous walk, or I could talk in a vigorous way, couldn't I? With lots of energy and excitement. But yes, it just means you're very lively and using a lot of energy. Vigorous. You go for a vigorous run. It's similar to, yes, it describes, it's more of a descriptive word to describe how it would appear if someone else was watching. He's a very vigorous person, you could say. Well, somebody who's always full of energy, always on the go.
It also relates to the main word, strong. So something strong would often also be described as vigorous. Something with lots of energy, something that is physically strong. And, of course, robust is also a very similar word. You use something with strength, with energy.
If a plant is growing very, very strongly, and if it seems to be growing very easily and it looks healthy, you can say that it's a vigorous plant. It means that it's healthy. Vigor is also associated with health as well, and a vigorous plant is a plant that grows quickly and looks strong and healthy. And a vigorous person is somebody that looks strong and healthy as well. It's got a slightly different. Yes, it means healthy as well, doesn't it? Vigorous.
Vigor is energy, swift energy.
You've got health. You look and feel. I feel vigorous today. It means you feel healthy, full of energy, raring to go. So it's a bit different to exertion, which is more of a just saying that you're expending energy.
Here we go. Moving on. You can have a strong man. A strong man. Oh. Or a strong horse. I know what you're going to say. That's a bit weird, Mr. Duncan. Very random. A strong horse. Well, horses, not all horses are strong horses. Some horses just like to wander around the field and eat the grass. Others might work on the farm. Here we go, Steve. Oh, look at that. Oh, now don't get excited.
I won't.
The ladies I'm on about.
Oh, right, yes.
Please, ladies, don't get too excited. A person who appears muscular might be assumed to be strong, and this is the big thing at the moment. I think men trying to build up their bodies to develop big muscles and look really strong is quite popular. Like this guy, look. There are lots of people on the internet teaching men how to look like that. Of course. Like everything in life, it is very easy to say, but not easy to do. So if you want to look like this guy, you need to do more than walk around your living room.
But that, of course, we're talking strong there. We're talking physical strength. And we'll probably come on to that. There's mental strength as well, of course. But we're talking here about, at the moment, about physical strength. And, of course, if you want to be stronger physically, then you're going to need bigger muscles. If we're just talking about that. About just physical strength, then if you want to lift weights, you're not going to be able to do that if you haven't done some training. So we're just talking about the physical side of strength at the moment, which of course means that you have to have muscles. But of course, you can be strong. You can have a strong immune system.
Yes.
For example, you could be very resistant to getting colds. I mean, that's a phrase you can use. I know people who don't get many colds. My sister doesn't get many colds.
That refers more to your immune system.
That's it. So you could
the things inside your body, the way your body is working internally.
That's it. You could say I've got a strong stomach.
Yeah. Anyway,
because
I'm going to be getting onto this, Steve.
Oh right, okay.
So a person who appears muscular might be assumed to be strong. But what I'm going to say here, the point is, it's not always the case. So just because a person looks like this does not mean they are strong physically. They just have the appearance. And a lot of people have already said on the live chat, you've beaten me to it by saying a bodybuilder is not stronger than a boxer or a rugby player. And I would say, yes, you're right. The appearance of having strength is not always having inner strength or physical strength. It is more the appearance.
Yes, because a bodybuilder is just building muscles for aesthetic reasons. So they're aesthetic, meaning the looks.
That's it.
So they're building up muscle so that it looks good. It's not necessarily functional in terms of what muscles you would need to be a good rugby player. You would build up different muscles for that, whereas a bodybuilder is just doing it for aesthetic reasons. Having said that, I still wouldn't like to get into a fight with that particular person.
No,
because I'm sure that generally they would be stronger than me, although they couldn't be a rugby player because they haven't got the muscles in the right place.
That's it. Well, they wouldn't be able to run because their thighs would be so big. So this guy,
Exactly.
there's a great expression that people use now describing a man. If a man is actually built like this, they will often describe him as a unit. And I love that phrase. It is a slang term for any man who is big built or large, not fat, but big like that. They say, oh, he's a unit. He's so big.
Of course,
I've got to move on, Steve.
I was just going to make a couple of comments from the live chat. Vitas has used a phrase here, which is a phrase which is quite common in English, to say that what does not kill us can only make us stronger.
Okay.
And that's a good phrase to suggest that indicates that you need to be tested now and then in life. For example, if you get a nasty bug or pneumonia or something like that, you get a nasty infection, if you overcome it, then it makes your body stronger. It's really saying that if you have adversity in your life, and not just physically but mentally as well,
yes,
then you become actually stronger as a person. And Giovanni has said that can we say that resilience, if you're working under pressure and you have to maybe meeting deadlines, something like that, is resilience the same as being strong?
Yes.
Certainly you could say that it is. Resilience...
It's a different type of strength, though. We might be looking at that in a moment.
Yeah, resilience is about withstanding pressure. Yes, you could use them as synonyms in a way, but really they're probably a little different. Different to that, but it depends whether you're talking about physical or mental strength.
Yes, well, this is all down to actually it's neither of those things. I would actually say it's down to character. So in that sense, we're talking about a person's actual character as well. So resilience might even relate to the way a person is as their character.
You could say that if you are, you could say that if you're resilient, you're also you need to have mental strength to be resilient.
Yes.
So when we come on to that, yes, but yet certainly yes, they are very connected, Giovanni.
In reference to a person's character, we might. It's actually on the screen now, by the way. In reference to a person's character, we might describe them as strong, as characteristics, so a person can be strong physically. So you see that person, you can see they are strong, or they appear strong, but of course a person, their character can also be described as strong as well, in reference to a person's character.
Yeah, so what do we mean by that, a strong character?
Well, I might be able to explain that as well. Let me just find my thing, because we've been talking for so long, I've lost my place here.
That's all right. Well,
to have a strong... Here we go, Steve. To have a strong character, a forceful personality, to be persuasive. Oh, I like that word. Another good word. We have some good words. So a strong character, you might describe them as forceful. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes you need a strong character. You need a person with a strong character, a forceful personality. That can, of course, be negative and positive, depending on the situation. They are persuasive. So I suppose it means a person who is good at communicating, maybe putting across their feelings or expressing themselves even, Steve.
Yes, you can be... there's a difference between being aggressive and being assertive. A strong character is somebody... Another way of looking at it would be somebody who has very strong beliefs within themselves about how life should be. They might have faith in certain things, but they've got certain beliefs, certain attitudes to life, and they are not willing to compromise on those. And so that strength of character can come across. It doesn't have to be in a very aggressive way. it can be just in quite a silent way.
Mm.
Somebody that's got a strong character, for example. I'm just trying to think of an example. They resist, for example, temptation. You can say that if somebody has a strong character, they might not allow themselves to become addicted to things like alcohol or cigarettes or drugs.
Okay.
Or if those things come along, they have the strength of will that they can put those things aside and not let it get to the point where it becomes a problem. You can say that person has a strong character. Or if somebody challenges one of their beliefs, they stand up for themselves.
Yes.
And they don't back down on something that they believe in if somebody is challenging them.
Yes. So to have a strong character, a forceful personality, maybe if you are in a situation at work, maybe your boss it has a forceful personality because they have to. In their job role, they have to make sure that everyone is doing what they should. So you must have a boss, a manager, and quite often they have a strong personality. They make very good managers, I would say. The strength of being able to cope with many problems, and this is what you were saying just a few moments ago, Steve, about being resilient. So the strength of being able to cope with many problems is to be strong.
Or have resilience. So if challenges and problems come along, you don't go into a corner and cry. For example, you are able to resist that because you know you've done it before. And somebody asked here, Abdelila, sorry, my eyesight's not very good. How to have resilience? Well, that's it. There's lots of courses on resilience that you can look at on the internet, but it's about exposing yourself to problems that may be or challenging yourself, and therefore building up resistance to problems in life by deliberately exposing yourself to things which maybe something scares you, maybe you're always scared. Maybe everyone's scared of public speaking, aren't they? Or getting up in a meeting and talking in front of colleagues at work. But if you do it enough times, you build up resilience because you get used to doing that particular thing, whatever it is.
Well, I actually think resilience is a kind of method or the mechanism of becoming confident. It's a bit like, as you said earlier, Steve. I think actually you put it much better than I did. And having an illness. So if you get an illness, if you become sick, quite often your body will become resilient. It will struggle. It will do things to fight off that thing. So instead of it being your body, we're just talking about your character. The way you see the world around you, the way you feel about yourself, your own image. So resilience is the mechanics, it's the engine of getting to those places, getting to that point where you feel confident or comfortable. You've got to push through that boundary of pain, a bit like a runner. You often hear that, don't you, with runners and athletes. They always say that there is a point where you have to push through the pain, and that is your resilience. That's the point where you suddenly can do something, but you can do it well, you can do it with confidence, and you have resilience. It is there.
But there are lots of courses on that on the internet.
Yeah.
Abdelila. So yes. It's an interesting subject. We all need to have resilience, because otherwise you can get yourself. We all go through periods, don't we, when we get quite sad and upset over things. I mean, if you're a soldier, I mean, there's lots of wars going on around the world. You've got to be very resilient, haven't you? How do you build up that resilience if you're a fighter going to war. You have to be exposed to the thing that is going to challenge you in order to build up that resilience in the first place. But yeah, we all need to have a certain degree of resilience. Otherwise, we'd all curl up in the corner and cry every time we watch the news.
Yeah, well, everything is every day is a battle of some sort. we all have to face those things. Strong-willed. Here we go, Steve. We've got some words now. Strong-willed. A person who is strong-willed. A person who is determined, stubborn, and gutsy. I love that one, by the way. A person who is gutsy. A person who is not afraid to go in and take on a challenge. You might feel afraid. And as Steve just said, sometimes you have to face those things. You have to push yourself forward. And you need to be determined, stubborn. So even if people are telling you, oh, you don't do that. No, you won't be able to do that. Oh, you'll never make it on YouTube. Oh, why are you still doing your English lessons? Oh, you're useless and rubbish. And you might go, no, I'm not going to listen to what you're saying. I'm still going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it, and you're not going to stop me. Whatever you say, I will not change my mind.
Yes, you have a desire to do something, and you're determined to. Your will is that you want to do something, and you're determined to do it, and you won't let anything stop you. Of course, the danger is that you might abuse other people in your pursuit of your goal, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But just being strong-willed doesn't mean that you're not a nice person. Just as if you've got a strong character doesn't mean you're not a nice person.
Well,
it just means you stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you're aggressively trying to force something on other people. It can mean that.
But yes, I was going to say most successful people, especially in things like business, are often people who are determined, stubborn and gutsy. They are strong-willed, and whatever it takes, if they have to push people out of the way, if they have to even cause difficulty for other people, they might play dirty to get where they want to go.
But not necessarily.
No, not necessarily, but I'm talking about certain situations like business. You want to be a successful business person. You want to be a multi-millionaire. You don't get there by being nice and opening doors for people. Sometimes you have to push that door open if someone else is trying to get through on the other side.
Yeah. But you can be a person of strong character, but that doesn't mean. It can also mean that you're a very moral person as well. It's often associated with morality sometimes as well, having a strong character. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to push yourself onto other people.
Yes.
But certainly in certain situations like business competition associated with business, then yes, you probably do have to impose your will on your employees if you're going to get the job done.
Here we go. To be dominant in one's actions. For example, now here is an interesting phrase that we've been hearing a lot recently for various reasons. A political strongman. And this is a very well-known phrase that we often use to describe maybe the leader of a country who is in a position of absolute power, and they will do anything to enforce that power. In fact, quite often they will not listen to other people. They will just do that thing. They will not listen to what other people tell them. They have their own way of doing things. A political strongman. And I suppose another word that has been used over the years, Steve, is dictator as well. So those two phrases, those two things often get crossed over. So a strong man politically might also be seen as someone who is ruling over a country in a ruthless way as a dictator. Perhaps, not definitely. Perhaps. That's all I'm saying about that. To have high ability in one area, Mr. Steve. Maths is my strong subject. If only it was. I would say English is my strong subject, Steve.
Definitely.
What's yours?
Cars.
But
Talking about cars is definitely a strong subject of mine.
it tends to be a thing that you use, though, in your life.
Music.
Generally. I would say
I'm quite I would say my oh, you mean my strong subject, probably science. I would say
yes. I think so.
quite like science. I would say that's or biology.
Certainly, during your education, you will often look at a student and you will try to work out what their strong subject is. So I think yours is science. Mine is definitely English, and maybe also a little bit of art as well. Week. Here we go, Steve. We've got to rush through these because we've still got to play the game, by the way.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. You know, we are rapidly running out of time, so we will be going over today. Weak. See, now this is one I can relate to. I can't relate to strong, but I can relate definitely to weak.
Well, I think you're quite strong-willed.
Weak is the antonym of strong. So something strong, something weak. It is the exact opposite, the absolute opposite. To lack strength or have little power. And this is something I can definitely relate to, Mr. Steve. I'm sorry, but that reminds me a bit of me when I used to go cross country running at school. That's what I looked like when I was wearing my my sports kit at school. A person with no body mass or is not muscular might be described as weak. That doesn't mean they are. So a little bit like the strong man, he might look strong, but he might not have strength in every area. So the opposite is true as well. So just because a person looks weak, I think I'm a good example of that. I'm not very big as a person. I'm tall, but I don't have much muscle on me.
Yes, I mean it depends how what your attitude is. I mean somebody who you can be physically slight. There's a word. If you are slight, it means you've got maybe not too many muscles. You haven't got big broad shoulders. You're sort of skinny. But that doesn't, if you walk, it depends on your demeanour, how you carry yourself. You can certainly be skinny, but appear to be strong because you've got a character, something about you.
Yes.
You don't have to be. It's where the mental attitude comes into it.
That's it. Well, that's kind of the opposite of the strong person. Doesn't necessarily mean because they look strong that they actually are. A weak person might be described. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I was choosing these pictures this morning and I saw so many. I can't believe that there are so many stock images of people that look like that and look like me. Because that's a bit like, well, in fact, even that guy looks bigger and more muscular than me. A weak person might be described as feeble, ineffectual. There's a great one. A person who has no strength either physically or mentally, I suppose. Weak-willed. So that's what you said just, Steve, about a person who might look strong, but they still might be weak-willed. They have no strength of character. A person who is physically weak. might be described as weedy. I was described as weedy at school. And of course, they might be described as a wimp.
Yes, I mean, yes, a wimp is describing somebody who doesn't stand up for themselves. I mean, you can be slightly built, but you may stand up for yourself and fight. So you wouldn't be described as a wimp then. I mean, you might have quite a big person who's a wimp, who doesn't stand up for themselves when they're challenged, whatever that might be. But yes, somebody just asked quite a good question on the live chat. Anarchy said, just going back briefly, fortitude. That's a good word. I would say fortitude is a synonym of resilient, really.
You might also describe it as the almost like a force field around you. So your character can be strong where things don't affect you. So your fortitude, rather like the word fort, which literally is a thing that's put up to protect.
Impregnable. It would take a lot to upset you. You've got a lot of fortitude. It's similar to resistance.
Yes.
I would say.
Rather like having a shield. To allow others to push you around or dominate you. So this happens a lot in life. Maybe at school, maybe you were like me at school. You were bullied by all the horrible big kids. They would bully you, push you around. Poor Mr. Duncan. I hated school, by the way. A lot of people seem to think that I was great at school. People watching, you always assume that I had this great education at school, but I didn't. I hated school so much. I hated it. I was always picked on and bullied by the other kids because I was
physically you didn't look very strong, so people used to pick on you.
I was very skinny. I was tall, but I was like a beanpole, unfortunately. So a lot of people used to take advantage of that. You might show your weakness, something with little force or strength. So I suppose if we're talking about the weather, you might talk about a weak breeze. Of course, you can have the opposite. You can have strong wind. The strong wind is blowing fiercely, and maybe everything is really chaotic because of the weather, like in Australia yesterday. Did you see the storms in Australia? Quite dramatic.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
So that you might have a weak breeze, something with no strength. Or maybe, I don't know why I chose this, you might have a weak bladder.
Yes, yeah, a weak bladder, it means that you need to go to the toilet a lot, or you find it difficult to hold your wee in.
Yes.
Just as it's like saying you've got a strong stomach.
Yes.
You know, it means you can eat anything and you don't ever get an upset stomach. Or you could have a weak stomach, and it means that even the slightest thing can upset your stomach sometimes. You might have a bit of spice in your food and you feel sick afterwards. You'd say, well, I've got a weak stomach. It means that your stomach isn't very resilient to different types of food.
If you do have a weak stomach, I suggest that you never try any of Mr. Steve's chili con carne, because you might find you will suddenly have a very weak everything.
Something you have to have if you're in sales, like I am, spending a lot of time in the car. You have to develop a strong bladder, the ability to hold on, and because you can't there isn't a toilet in the car. It still annoys me that they have not yet devised a way of fitting a toilet into your car seat.
Well, you know what delivery drivers do? They have a big bottle. They normally have a large bottle, and they have a little wee into that.
As long as that's all they do.
It's true, I'm not joking. So your delivery driver that comes to the house and delivers things to you, quite often they will have they will have a large bottle, a big water bottle, without any water in, and they will actually have their wee into that whilst they're driving around.
That's why you need to wash your hands when you unpack anything that's delivered to your door.
Well, that's why I do. I never take anything from a delivery driver without washing my hands afterwards. Definitely. Something with a little force or strength can be weak. Something with little taste or flavour. So I think this is an important thing to mention. Something weak might taste like nothing. So maybe there should be flavour, but when you drink it or taste it, there's nothing there. The flavour is weak. There is no flavour. You can describe it as weak. I suppose a good example, Mr. Steve always makes weak tea.
I don't. Yeah. Strong tea, it means it's been brewed for a long time.
Yes. So,
or strong coffee, it means it's a bit like coffee you get in Italy. To us, it's always strong. Coffee in Italy and in France, it's always strong, particularly in espresso.
So Mr. Steve always makes weak tea, as an example. Mr. Duncan likes his tea strong.
A strong curry.
Yes.
A curry, of course, is a spicy dish. A strong curry means that it's got lots of heat in it, lots of what makes a curry strong? I can't think of the... Pardon?
Spice.
Yes, but the particular spice, I'm thinking chili.
Chili.
A strong curry means it's got lots of chili in it, for example. Yeah.
And finally, a type of person with no force or will might be described as weak, a person with little will. So maybe they are a person that doesn't want to do anything with their life. They want to stay at home. They don't really have any aspirations. You might say that person is a little weak. They're weak-willed.
If there is a box of chocolates in the house, or a packet of chocolate biscuits, if you like chocolate, and how many of those biscuits do you eat? How many of those chocolates do you eat? If you were not able to resist eating the whole box of chocolates or the whole packet of biscuits, somebody might describe you as weak-willed. They might say, "Oh, you're very weak-willed. I will only have 2 chocolate biscuits out of the packet, or I would only have 2 chocolates from the box, and I can save the rest for another day." You would say that person is strong-willed. Or if you go out for a drink in the pub, do you have 1 drink and say, "That's enough for me"? Or somebody might say, "Oh, you're very strong-willed." But if you then have another and another and another, somebody might say, "Oh, you're weak-willed."
Of course, as a noun, you can say weakness. So you have a weakness, something that you can't resist. And guess what, Steve? That is the end of that.
Right.
But we now have our little game coming up. The game that apparently last week we had such a good response to this, Steve. Huge response. And the week before we did the same thing. So I thought we would do it today. Guess the picture idiom. I have a feeling a lot of people are just waiting for this, you see.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve?
Giovanni's come up with a good example here. Are you going to, if there's a mobile phone in your bedroom, are you going to pick it up every time you hear the ping? Are you strong-willed enough not to look at the phone? There's a good example. Or are you weak-willed and it's nagging in your brain and you've got to have a look at that phone?
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Right, picture quiz.
I can safely say that sometimes I can't remember where I've put my mobile phone. Sometimes I just put it down because I spend most of my time working here on the computer, this big area around me. So sometimes I put my phone down and I can't remember where it is. Here we go then. This is the game that a lot of people liked to play last week, and we are going to do it again. Guess the picture idiom. See if you can guess the picture idiom. Now, Steve, if you can tilt your body slightly over so you are on the outside of the square.
That way?
That's it, yes. And now we're both on screen. Look at that, isn't that nice? So now you can see us both. I noticed last week that Steve was hidden for most of the time. It looked very strange. Anyway, here we go then, Steve. Here is the first guess the picture idiom. See if you can guess what it is. It is a well-known expression. It is something we use in English to describe a certain action. So everything you see today will be a type of idiom or phrase, and what I've done is I've turned those things into pictures. So all you have to do is guess what the idiom is. I have a feeling that Steve probably knows what this is just by looking at it. It is a rather popular phrase, so I'm wondering if anyone knows the answer.
Oh. Anawat.
Anawat.
And Lewis.
And Lewis. Hello, Anawat and Lewis.
Inaki.
Vitas. Oh my
Beatrice. Oh, you must have all been writing at the same time.
Yes. So all of those came through together. Rosa says, "Hold your horn."
That has a whole different meaning.
I think that might be something else.
Christina.
You can be arrested for that. Jimmy from Hong Kong. Hello, Jimmy. Nice to see you here today. Let's have a look then, shall we? Were you right about that one? And what does it mean? Ah, yes. You take the bull by the horns.
Or grab the bull by the horns.
Yes.
And
so
Jimmy's given us a good explanation.
We use this. We use this to express maybe something we have to do that we are reluctant to actually do, or maybe something we've been trying to avoid. You have to take the bull by the horns. You have to just do it.
Something difficult that you've got to do. It's you know it's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to be challenging.
Yes.
You probably don't want to do it, but somebody might say to you, "Look, you've got to clean the car. Just take." No, well, that's probably not a good example, is it?
It's not the best example.
That doesn't take very much effort.
So
you've got to start a new project.
Yes, something that has a lot of work to do.
Yes.
So maybe you have to clean your garage. Maybe your garage is full of junk and rubbish. So one day you open the garage door and you think, okay, I'm not going to avoid doing this. I'm going to take the bull by the horns. I'm going to just get on with it. I'm going to do it. It will take a long time to clean the garage, to tidy everything out, but I will take the bull by the horns. I'm going to do this task.
Yes, I'm going to do it. It's going to be difficult, like if you were trying to grab an actual bull by the horns. That would be very difficult and challenging. So it's something difficult and challenging that you've got to do, that you've probably put off doing, like some big project at work, or maybe a big project in the garden or in the house. Oh, how am I going to start? Oh, I just need to take the bull by the horns. In other words, you just need to dive in and do it.
That's it. Yes, that's a good explanation for a decisive or dangerous situation. Maybe something that might put you at risk, even.
Yes.
But something you don't want to do. You want to avoid having to do it. Maybe you have to own up to doing something bad in the past. You have to take the bull by the horns. You have to face that thing.
It could be dangerous situation, or it could be just something you've been putting off doing.
Yes.
But whatever it is, it's going to take a lot of effort to do it. That's why the analogy is with trying to control a ball with it's going to take a lot of effort.
Yes.
And whatever this task is, this is a metaphorical way of expressing it.
Here's another one, Steve. Once you know what it is, on the live chat, please let me know. Just say what you see. Say what you see. I like those socks, by the way.
Is that one of your socks, Mr. Duncan?
I wish it was. I wish my socks were that colourful.
You have lots of colourful socks. Do
Yes.
you not?
I like the shoes as well. I like those shoes. But no, they are not my feet, unfortunately.
Yes, Inaki, procrastinating is the opposite of taking the bull by the horns.
Oh, I see. I
Yes.
wonder what you said then.
I would agree then.
Yes.
Procrastinating means to put off doing something by distracting yourself with other activities.
Beatrice has a guess. Thank you, Beatrice, for your guess on this guess the picture idiom. It is a well-known expression often done in a moment of frustration or anger.
Oh, Anuat's put a good suggestion on. Christina as well.
Yes, some good ones coming through.
Just
Yes.
think what you're saying, what you're putting on the live chat. Is it an idiom that you are actually describing?
That's it. Inarchy, that's a good one. But
Yes.
it is not that. So look at what that person is doing, the direction that it is going in. What is that person doing? I will give you the answer in around about 20 seconds from now, because already we are on overtime now. Ooh.
We are. And we've got to get a cup of tea and a cake in, and go for a walk,
Yes.
and watch a program about cars.
No, we will
It's all
not be
going to
doing.
be
Mr. Steve, we will not be doing that. I have to be
punishing me, Mr.
strong.
Duncan. You're going to be strong-willed over this, are you?
I'm going to be stubborn.
You're going to be stubborn and insist, and be strong-willed and take me out for a walk.
Here we go then. Here's the answer to this one.
Put
see?
your foot down.
Put your foot down. A person might put their foot down. They might say, look, I have to say something. I have to tell you to stop making noise.
Anuat did get it right.
Oh.
Just as you said it, because of the delay,
Hmm.
they must have put that in before you spoke. So put your best foot forward. So Anuat came up with a couple of good suggestions there.
Yes, to put your foot down means to make a point of saying enough is enough. I will not accept your behaviour. I will not accept. You have to be firm. You are saying no in a very firm and absolute way.
If you had a misbehaving child and you asked them to do something, their homework, for example. You've got a child, they wouldn't do their homework, or they wouldn't go and brush their teeth to get ready for bed, wouldn't eat their food. There might be a bit of talk going backwards and forwards where they were trying to resist your will, and then eventually you put your foot down and you say, no, you're going to do this thing.
Yes.
I'm not going to let you get away with it. It means that you are taking control.
Yes, you are being firm.
You're being firm and taking control.
Good one. That's a good one. Of course, put your foot down can also be used as an expression to mean to drive too fast in your car.
Yes.
So if you put your foot down, we can also use it in another way. So imagine Mr. Steve driving along the road. He might sometimes be tempted to put his foot down on the accelerator. It means you go too fast. You put your foot down.
Yes, the arrow is meant to indicate down.
Yes.
That's what the arrow is meant to is meant to indicate, a downward direction.
That's it. Yes, it's just The arrow shouldn't be there, says Lewis. No, it should be there because the foot is going down. You are putting your foot down. It's going down. So you are showing something in the form of a picture. Here's another one. We'll have this one and then we will go.
Yes, I'm hungry.
Okay, Steve, please don't complain. Or else I will have to...
I'm feeling weak because I haven't got enough sugar going through my blood.
Steve, I have to put my foot down and tell you.
Okay, right.
We have to do one more. Here we go, Steve. One more.
Oh, even I've got that one straight away.
Thank goodness for that. So as soon as we get the answer to this, then I will switch off the electricity in my studio and we will go out.
Anawat's very good at this.
Yeah.
You're very good at this, by the way. You've got 2 right.
Mm. Yes. So once again, we have feet, you see.
And if you do get the answer right, if you can also tell us what it means, you will get an extra point. Not that points are going towards anything, but you will get an extra point of kudos.
Okay.
Kudos, of course, is other people. You're getting. It means that you're being celebrated.
Yes.
And other people are seeing how good you are.
Okay.
And we'll say to you, well done, well done, well done.
Yeah.
Kudos.
It's like scoring a point.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
We have a couple of correct answers coming through. So this is an interesting phrase that we often use when we have to be careful, especially these days, because you have to be careful what you say. You have to be careful of the words you use. You might upset or offend someone. And the phrase is walk on eggshells. Something you have to do if you want to avoid upsetting someone or offending someone. Where you say that you have to walk on eggshells. Be careful what you say, because you might offend that lady who lives next door. So you might have to walk on eggshells. Be very careful.
Yes. It's indicating that you've got to be careful what you say so as not to offend somebody with what you say or the way that you say it. And of course, the connection there is that if you were to walk on eggshells, you'd have to be very careful to avoid breaking them and making lots of noise or disturbance.
Yes.
So the idea is that you've got to be very careful with how you talk to a person or a group of people so as not to upset them in a particular way.
You might say the situation is precarious.
Yes.
There's a nice word to end on. And that, as they say, is that. Thank you very much for your company today. We've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about technology. We've looked at strength and weakness. We've had some picture idioms as well. And, of course, we've had Mr. Steve with us as well for the past hour and 8 minutes. In fact, I think it was longer than that. Goodness me. We've been here for quite a while, haven't we, today? I'm doing overtime.
Yes,
so,
Anawat says that you often have to walk on eggshells with your partner.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So as not to upset them.
Yes.
Particularly if there's something you want from them.
You have to walk on eggshells with everyone these days because so many people are sensitive about things. You have to be so careful.
Don't forget to like Mr. Duncan, to like this live stream, please. It really helps Mr. Duncan to be seen in other parts of YouTube, which helps Mr. Duncan's channel.
Yes.
So please do like. And if you want to make comments after the live stream is finished, that also helps as well. And of course, subscribing and ticking that little bell icon. Yeah. Lovely to be here, Mr. Duncan. Lovely to hope you've learned something today. I've enjoyed being here, and will I be here next Sunday? Yes, I will.
Well, can I just say, next Sunday, of course, it's not the happiest of days next Sunday, because once again we find ourselves arriving at the anniversary of my mother passing away. So next Sunday will be a strange day. So we will see what happens next Sunday. But I will definitely be with you on Wednesday.
You've got to be strong, Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
You've got to be strong.
Yeah.
And carry on with the live stream despite the fact that you're going to feel upset. There we go. There's a good use of some of the things we've been talking about today.
Good.
Got to be strong, Mr. Duncan. You've got to carry on.
Okay. I will try my best. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Steve.
Bye. Have a lovely week learning English, and see you next Sunday.
And there he was. Mr. Steve is now leaving the studio. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. We still have some nice weather outside to enjoy. I hope that we will be going out for a walk in a few moments from now. We will have a cup of tea, something to eat, and then we will go out and enjoy some of the lovely sunshine, although it looks as if the weather already is starting to become quite cloudy outside, I've noticed, looking out of the window. Already the weather is starting to deteriorate. Ooh, there's an interesting word. To get worse, to degrade, to deteriorate. Thank you very much for your company. See you on Wednesday, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of the English language, saying thanks for watching. See you soon. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Have a great day. See you soon. Ta-ta for now. See you on Wednesday.